Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, so Talk Tuesday. And we're here at the straight road. Possibly our last straight road for the season, we'll see. As you guys may have noticed, it's getting a little hot. It's actually really nice here. One thing you can count on that is helpful for everything. Sorry, I didn't realize that was zoomed in. There we go. That is helpful for everything except taking video, of course, is the breeze. So one of the reasons I really love coming here is because you get a nice breeze, so minimal bugs, and it's a bit cooler for the dogs. And also there's like different, you can see Murphy going for one now. There's different sections that have water available for them. Once that, you can see that one only has mud. Good. Good. Yeah, you. Well, at least I know none of the other dogs are going in there. Once they evaporate, you get that. And then we sort of stop coming unless there's a good rain that re-ups the water sections. Anyway, so yeah, so we've got Phoebe, Hamish, Tucker, Murphy, Denver, Nova, Nova, and Saxon, who's trailing behind. Okay, let's go. So, yeah, had a couple of things I wanted to talk about this video, one of which is season changeover. Now, most of you guys are old hat at this, but just in case, and for the people that watch the videos and are very confused by the scenery change, I go out earlier in the morning. So I leave my house about a half an hour earlier just to maximize the coolness. And there will come a point where I switch to walking in water. And that's because if I'm gonna have them going for a decent amount of time, then I want to make sure that they're not gonna overheat at all. So there's a place that I go where we literally walk in a creek or a river. I'm not sure what the distinction is. One day I'll look that up. Phoebe out. And that's just to keep them cool. And also me. I need to be kept cool. Denver, let's go! Thank you. Yeah, so, but we're lucky today. Like, it's still pretty nice out here. And I know there are still at least 2 water spots that we'll pass that are deep enough for them to get their feet wet. That's the main thing, is getting their feet wet. Though if I'm concerned, there, you can see he's going for the second one there. And so Saxon, I think. If you can get their feet wet, it'll keep them pretty cool. But occasionally, depending on the dog, I will also, like, I've got those bigger water bottles in the car, and I'll wet them down before we start. Go get some water, Saxon. Denver 2, go. Phoebe, go get your feet wet. Oh, Phoebe, Hamish. Well, that happened a lot faster than it normally does. Come on. I know, I'm sorry. Go check the next one. It just goes to show you we've had a really dry spring. So, again, thankfully there's a cool breeze when we get back to the car and water them all down again. Yeah. Luckily it's not later in the day when it's supposed to be super, super, super hot. Which I definitely am not a huge fan of. So yeah, so that's basically the only season change. Like, you guys already know about the bug spray, because I spray them down for ticks. Yeah, earlier in the day just for when it's cooler. And water, that's basically the big change. Oh, and it's funny I mentioned leaving earlier because I did. I left right after I got my vaccine appointment today. And I still ended up being later than I wanted. Like, I like to start walk around 10 in the summertime, 10 to 11. And they definitely are going ham on the construction right now, I'll tell you that much. 1, 2, 4, 6. I feel like I'm missing someone. I think it's just because May's not here. Yeah, 2 littles. Yeah, okay. So, the next Talk Tuesday, unless the weather drastically changes, you'll get this year's first glimpse of the water. We did check it out yesterday. We walked on the land part of that walk, and I went down and I checked just to make sure, because if the water's moving too fast or if it's too high, we can't safely walk there. But I think we'll be okay for tomorrow, and especially Thursday. It's supposed to be really hot, so we're definitely going on Thursday. Yeah. So that's the seasonal report. The next, I know, 2 topics, 1 video. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Denver, go get some water there. Go. No, I know, buddy. You're gonna stay with me. And I know you don't want to because it's dirty. There, that's good. So we still have. You are so gross, child. Okay, come on, let's go. So we still have a couple spots where they can get their feet wet, which is good. Anyway, so next thing I wanted to talk about, I wanted to let you guys know, I have 1 or 2 spots opening up on Pack Walk. And I'm going through the list of people that are on waiting list. And I've talked to a couple. One thing I really want to stress is part of the thing that makes Pack Walk different is sort of, I have a protocol for introducing new dogs to the pack, and that's a safety thing. It's not just to make sure that they know how to, like, what the rules are and everything in the pack. Come on, kid, let's go. I know, you're a good boy. But also because it's really important. Denver, absolutely not. We're gonna leave the bird to his birding. Thank you. It's really important for me, with emphasis on safety, the kind of relationship I have with the dogs. Like, I'm not the kind of walker that shows up at your house, picks up your dogs, goes to a place, let them all out of the vehicle at the same time, let them do whatever they want. I've seen quite a few walkers like that, and I've seen quite a few scary situations happen because of that method. So I definitely work a little bit differently. And I don't take dogs for less than 3, excepting Saxon, for less than 3 walks per week. And I know I myself am working at a reduced capacity at 4 days instead of 5 days, so it makes it a little trickier. But the reason I have that 3-day a week, and that's for initial dogs. Like, obviously, I definitely take dogs I've had for a while at less, but we've had the time to develop that relationship. Miss, go get Hamish. Keep yourself out of trouble. And I get asked pretty frequently, like, why I do that, why I insist on a minimum of 3 walks. And it's pretty simple. It's to develop the routine. Like, dogs are fairly routine based. Like, and you might notice that they know when their dinner time is and things like that. Like, that's one of the reasons I honestly prefer, especially working with a new dog, to do 5 days a week, or in this currently 4. During COVID 4, hopefully 5 at some point. But and that's solely because it shows that I'm a somewhat permanent installation in their life instead of a temporary, like a person they see every once in a while that they definitely don't have to listen to, right? And now that's different with every dog, but when I'm developing the relationship, that's how we do it. And I've gone over like the steps on how I introduce like the beginning weeks of what I do. So I'll skip that this time, especially since we're already over 10 minutes. But the question that was raised was like, how do I recognize when we've hit that relationship point? And it's honestly when the dogs start seeking me out for physical affection, like not just coming. Nova, thank you. Go. Losing her to the smells. Not just coming to me because they have to in their brains, because recall. Not just coming to me because I have food, but even when I don't have food, like if we're just walking along, they'll come up and they'll like brush by, or they'll boot my hand or something like that. That's when I know that we have that relationship. And before that, it's just we need to figure each other out. And usually there's like a 2 or 3 week honeymoon period where they're super, super good. And then there is like a good 2-ish weeks of establishing boundaries. And yes, you do kind of have to listen to me. That's the shtick here. And then once that's over, usually it's smooth sailing. Every once in a while, like depending on what's happening in their lives or something, we may have to address those again. But typically speaking, that's a regular timeline for most dogs. Now, the thing about taking them for less than that, so let's say I'm working with a dog 5 days a week, it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get them nice and solid for off-leash pack walk. And I know some of you are like, oh my God, that's crazy. But the reality is like, that's using long lines, that's doing drills, that's making sure that everything is solid, because I do walk in places where there is wildlife. And like all these guys know that that's not a thing. We don't chase wildlife. We don't do anything about it. And most dogs, like that's just not something they come with. So all that to say is like, that's why I do it the way I do it. And I've had much success with it. Like, I don't tell you guys all the time because mostly I forget, but where we've been walking, we've been running into people more often. Thank you, COVID. And I do one of two things. If I have enough time, I will leash everybody up, attach them to me, and we will just walk on one side. Usually the people can leash their own dogs. They walk on the other side. We pass by. That's it. I never ever do greetings with people and dogs I don't know. Again, safety's sake. And then, kid, thank you. And then if I don't have enough time, like if it's a cyclist that hasn't rung their bell or something, I will just recall them off the path, have them sit or lay down, give them a treat time. And that's let whoever pass by. I occasionally will leash the ones that I don't trust as much, or my flight risks. Like typically I will leash Phoebe, and sometimes this guy, depending on his listening ears that day. Tucker, we're gonna leave that alone. Thank you. Saw a coyote up here earlier, so I just want to make sure that we stay in formation. And yeah, so I got off track there. So if I'm doing something 5 days a week, something that'll take me, say, a month to do, whereas if I'm doing 1 or 2 days a week, it's several months, if not a year. Like, that's a year of the dog not going off leash. Like, still being on long line, and we're still working on stuff, but it's a much harder struggle to get that mutually respectful relationship. So yeah, that's why I don't really have any one-day dogs. And even after I go through that process, typically 2 days, 2 or 3 days a week is fairly standard. Yeah, you're very cute. You're not going in the mud pit. I know it's there. Okay, you're here. Good. Yeah, so, okay, we're 15 minutes. I'm going to sign off. If you have any questions about this or any other video, you know what to do. Excuse you, Tucker. Thank you. Hope you guys are having as much fun as your dogs are. And we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.